What if I told you that the reason you're not his priority has nothing to do with him, but everything to do with how you're showing up in the relationship? Have you ever felt like you're giving your all, bending over backward to make him happy, only to be treated like an afterthought? You're left wondering, what am I doing wrong? You're not alone. So many women fall into this trap, pouring out endless energy while waiting for a shift that never comes. Here's the truth. The problem isn't that you're not enough, it's that your approach needs a total transformation. Women are often told to be accommodating, sweet, and always available to win a man's heart. But here's the kicker. That strategy is sabotaging your chances. By constantly chasing his attention, you're unknowingly telling him that your time, energy, and emotions are his to take for granted. But what if you could flip the script? What if you could captivate his attention in a way that makes him prioritize you, not because you demand it, but because he genuinely sees you as irreplaceable? The solution lies in an ancient mindset that has stood the test of time: Stoicism. More specifically, I call it Dark Stoic Psychology, the art of mastering your emotions, creating scarcity, and commanding respect. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about unlocking a version of yourself that exudes confidence, value, and independence. If you're tired of being just another option, keep reading, because what you're about to discover could change everything. Let's dive into the first step of becoming his priority. This isn't a quick fix, it's a journey to mastering yourself and the dynamics of attraction. 1. Embrace the power of emotional independence. Have you ever felt like his moods and actions dictate your entire day? He cancels a date, and suddenly you're spiraling. He sends a vague text, and you're dissecting every word for hidden meanings. Let me ask you this. How much power are you giving him over your emotions? The most magnetic women are those who remain emotionally grounded, no matter what happens. Think about it. Would you be drawn to someone who's overly reactive, constantly seeking validation, or unable to handle setbacks? Likely not. Emotional independence isn't just a have, it's essential if you want to shift the dynamic and become his priority. Here's the harsh reality. When a man realizes he can control your emotions, he loses respect. It's not that he's trying to manipulate you, it's human nature. People respect those who maintain their composure, especially under pressure. Emotional independence doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop overreacting. It means you're no longer at the mercy of his whims. Picture this. You've been texting back and forth with him all day, and suddenly he goes silent. Most women would panic, sending follow-up messages or analyzing every possible scenario, but not you. Instead, you stay calm and carry on with your day. You've got things to do, places to be, and your happiness isn't tied to whether or not he texts back. Do you see how powerful that is? By maintaining emotional independence, you're subtly signaling to him that you're not someone who can be easily shaken. You're creating a sense of mystery and strength that's incredibly alluring. And here's the twist. The less you let his actions affect you, the more intrigued he becomes. It's a paradox that works every time. But let's take it deeper. Emotional independence isn't just about how you react to him, it's about how you show up for yourself. Are you pursuing your own goals? Are you taking care of your mental and emotional health? Are you living a life that excites you with or without him? If the answer is no, it's time to change that. When you focus on building a fulfilling life outside of the relationship, you naturally become less reliant on his validation. This shift is transformative, not only for how he sees you, but for how you see yourself. You begin to radiate confidence, and trust me, that confidence is magnetic. So, how do you start? Begin by setting small, achievable goals for yourself, things that have nothing to do with him. Maybe it's a fitness goal, a creative project, or a professional milestone. As you start hitting these goals, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment that's entirely your own. That's the foundation of emotional independence. Another critical aspect of this principle is learning how to handle rejection. Rejection is inevitable in life and relationships, but it doesn't have to define you. Instead of spiraling, use rejection as an opportunity to grow. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This kind of self-reflection is at the heart of Dark Stoic Psychology, using challenges to refine your strength and resilience. Ultimately, emotional independence is about reclaiming your power. It's about shifting the focus from what he's doing to how you're showing up. When you become emotionally grounded, you're no longer just an option, you're the woman he can't afford to lose. Are you ready to take back control of your emotions and step into the version of yourself that commands respect and admiration? This is just the beginning. Let's keep going and uncover the next step to becoming his priority. 2. Set clear boundaries that command respect. Have you ever felt like he's pushing the limits, testing how much you'll tolerate? Maybe he cancels plans last minute or texts you only when it's convenient for him. Here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about controlling him. They're about valuing yourself enough to communicate what you deserve. Think about it. When you let someone treat you however they please, what message are you sending? You're silently saying, I'm okay with this. But deep down, you're not okay. You're hurt, frustrated, and questioning why he doesn't prioritize you. The answer is simple. People only value what they're afraid to lose, and boundaries are how you show that you value yourself enough to walk away if those boundaries aren't respected. Let's be honest, setting boundaries can feel scary. You might worry, what if he pulls away? What if I seem too demanding? But here's the twist. It's the exact opposite. Boundaries aren't about pushing him away, they're about pulling him closer by making him respect you. Imagine this scenario. He texts you at 11 p.m. asking if you want to hang out. You've had a long day, and while part of you is tempted to drop everything to see him, you know it's not what you truly want. Instead of saying yes, you reply, I've already settled in for the night, but let's plan something for tomorrow. What just happened? You've drawn a line. You've shown him that your time is valuable. And most importantly, you've communicated that you won't be at his beck and call. Men respect women who respect themselves, and boundaries are the clearest way to communicate self-respect. But boundaries aren't just about responding to his actions, they're about setting the tone for the relationship. If he's casually dating multiple people while expecting your undivided attention, it's time to have an honest conversation. Say something like, I'm looking for something serious, and I'm not interested in being one of many. If we're not on the same page, that's okay, but I need to step back. Does this feel bold? Good. That's the point. By setting this boundary, you're making it clear that you won't settle for anything less than what you deserve. And here's the magic. When a man sees that you're willing to walk away, he'll either rise to meet your standards or reveal that he was never serious in the first place. Either way, you win. Let me ask you this. What's the worst that could happen if you set a boundary? He might not like it. He might even test it to see if you're serious. But the best case scenario, he realizes your worth and starts prioritizing you because he knows you won't tolerate being an afterthought. Boundaries aren't just about relationships, they're about every aspect of your life. Do you overextend yourself at work, saying yes to every task while neglecting your own well-being? Do you let friends or family overstep, draining your energy and leaving you feeling resentful? The way you handle boundaries in your personal life often mirrors how you handle them in relationships. Here's a challenge. Start small. Think of one area in your life where you've been feeling stretched too thin and set a boundary. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but every time you enforce that boundary, you're reinforcing your self-worth. The beauty of boundaries is that they don't require drama or conflict. A simple, calm statement like, I can't commit to that right now, or this doesn't work for me, is enough. The key is consistency. If you set a boundary but fail to enforce it, you're sending mixed signals. Stand firm, and over time, others will learn to respect your limits. Let me share a secret. Boundaries are at the core of Dark Stoic Psychology. Why? Because they're about mastering your time, energy, and emotions. When you set boundaries, you're taking control of your life instead of letting external circumstances dictate your happiness. It's a game changer, not just in relationships, but in every aspect of your journey. So, are you ready to start setting boundaries that demand respect? Imagine how liberating it will feel to stop overgiving and start receiving the treatment you truly deserve. It's not about being mean or manipulative, it's about being clear, confident, and authentic. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. If you're loving this advice so far, like this video and comment number 1 below. Your support keeps this channel growing and allows us to bring you more transformative content. Don't forget to subscribe and join our community of empowered women ready to take charge of their lives and relationships. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Let's dive into the next step. You won't believe how it changes everything. 3. Focus on your own goals and passions. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself? Not for him, not for anyone else, just for you. If you're struggling to remember, it's time to refocus. One of the most attractive traits you can have is a life that's rich, exciting, and meaningful. A life where you're the main character, not a supporting role in someone else's story. Here's a secret about men. They're irresistibly drawn to women who have their own purpose. Why? Because it shows confidence, independence, and depth. A woman who is passionate about her goals and interests isn't just desirable, she's unforgettable. Let's be real. It's easy to fall into the trap of centering your life around a relationship. Maybe you cancel plans with friends to be more available for him. Or you put your hobbies on hold because you think spending all your time together will bring you closer. But here's the irony, by making him your entire world, you risk losing his attention. Why? Because you stop being the dynamic, multifaceted person he was originally attracted to. Men love mystery and complexity. They're intrigued by women who are driven, ambitious, and unapologetically themselves. When you're chasing your dreams, you're not just busy, you're magnetic. You radiate a confidence that can't be faked, because it comes from knowing who you are and what you want. So, what does this look like in practice? It starts with reclaiming your time. Make a list of things you've been putting off, whether it's a career goal, a creative passion, or even a fitness journey. Then, start taking small steps to reignite those areas of your life. It doesn't have to be monumental. Maybe you sign up for a class you've been curious about, or finally start that side project you've been dreaming of. Whatever it is, make it a priority. When you're deeply invested in your own growth, something incredible happens. You stop needing him to fill every emotional gap. You're no longer looking to him for constant validation or entertainment because your life is already fulfilling. And that independence is intoxicating. Let's flip the perspective for a moment. Imagine a man who spends all his time texting you, waiting for your attention, and cancelling his plans at the drop of a hat just to be available for you. How would that make you feel? Initially, it might be flattering, but over time you'd probably start to lose respect for him. You might even feel suffocated. The same principle applies in reverse. Men respect and desire women who respect their own time and priorities. But let's not stop at the surface level. This principle goes beyond just being busy. It's about finding your why, the deeper purpose that drives you. Are you working towards something that excites you? Do you wake up feeling inspired to chase a vision that's bigger than yourself? When you have a purpose, you become unstoppable. And that energy is contagious. Here's where Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology come into play. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our mindset, and our growth. It's not about impressing him, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. When you're aligned with your goals, setbacks in your relationship won't feel as devastating because you've built a foundation of self-worth that isn't dependent on anyone else. A powerful shift happens when you embody this mindset. He starts to see you in a new light, not as someone who's always waiting for his attention, but as a high-value woman who's busy living her life. Suddenly, he's the one wondering how he can fit into your world. He's the one making plans to align with your schedule. Why? Because a woman with a mission is a woman he can't afford to lose. But this transformation isn't just about him. It's about you. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you may have set aside in the name of love or compromise. It's about stepping into your power and recognizing that your happiness doesn't hinge on his approval. Think about the energy you're putting into this relationship. Are you giving so much that you're neglecting your own needs? If so, it's time to recalibrate. When you prioritize your goals and passions, you're not just enriching your own life, you're setting a standard for how you deserve to be treated. And that standard will naturally weed out anyone who doesn't see your value. This isn't about being selfish. It's about balance. Relationships thrive when both people bring their best selves to the table. By focusing on your own growth, you're not only elevating yourself, you're elevating the entire dynamic. You're showing him that you're a partner worth building a future with, not just someone who's along for the ride. So, what's stopping you? What's the one thing you've been meaning to pursue but haven't made time for? Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Take the first step toward rediscovering your passions and watch how it transforms not just your relationship, but your entire sense of self. 4. Create a sense of scarcity. Have you ever noticed how the things that are harder to get seem more valuable? It's the same with relationships. When something or someone is always available, it's easy to take it for granted. Scarcity creates value, and this principle applies to you too. If you're constantly at his beck and call, you're unknowingly diminishing your allure. But when you create a sense of scarcity, you become the woman he craves, the one he can't stop thinking about. Let's get real. Are you making yourself too available? Are you always the one rearranging your schedule to fit his? Do you respond to his texts within seconds or cancel plans just to be with him? While your intentions may come from a good place, this over-availability sends the wrong message. It tells him, my time isn't as valuable as yours. Here's the thing. Men are biologically wired to chase. They thrive on challenges and are naturally drawn to what feels just out of reach. When you're always there, you remove the mystery and excitement that fuel attraction. But when you pull back just enough to create a sense of scarcity, you reignite that spark of curiosity. He starts to wonder. What is she up to? Why isn't she as available anymore? And in that wondering, his desire grows. Creating scarcity doesn't mean playing games or ignoring him. It's about valuing your time and energy. It's about showing him that you have a full, vibrant life outside of the relationship. When you're genuinely busy pursuing your goals, passions, and friendships, scarcity happens naturally. You're not pretending to be unavailable. You truly have other priorities. Imagine this. He texts you late at night, asking if you want to meet up. Instead of dropping everything to say yes, you calmly reply, I already have plans tonight, but let's find a time that works for both of us. In that moment, you're subtly communicating that your time is valuable. You're not a last-minute option, you're someone who deserves to be prioritized. But scarcity goes beyond just being less available. It's about creating intrigue. If he knows your every move and can predict your reactions, there's no mystery left. And mystery is the heartbeat of attraction. When he doesn't know everything about you, when he has to work a little harder to understand your world, he becomes invested. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology can transform your approach. Instead of constantly seeking his attention or validation, you focus on maintaining emotional control and staying centered in your own life. You're not playing hard to get, you're living a life that's already fulfilling, and he has to prove he's worth a place in it. This subtle shift in dynamics is powerful because it flips the script. He's no longer in control of the chase, you are. Consider this: if you're always the one initiating conversations or making plans, you're removing his opportunity to pursue you. And when a man doesn't have to work for something, he's less likely to value it. By pulling back and letting him come to you, you give him the space to show his intentions. If he truly values you, he'll step up. If he doesn't, then he wasn't worth your time in the first place. But let's talk about balance. Creating scarcity doesn't mean shutting him out or being cold. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're warm, engaging, and present, but not over-available. When you strike this balance, you create an energy that's irresistible. You're showing him that while you enjoy his company, your world doesn't revolve around him. And that confidence is intoxicating. Think about the times when you've been deeply attracted to someone. Was it because they were constantly chasing you? Or was it because they had an air of independence and purpose that drew you in? That's the energy you want to cultivate. It's not about withholding. It's about showing him that you're a woman of value, a woman whose time and presence are worth earning. Here's an exercise to put this into action. The next time he reaches out, pause before responding. Instead of immediately saying yes to his plans, consider your own schedule and desires. If you're free and genuinely want to see him, go for it. But if you already have plans or simply need some time for yourself, honor that. By prioritizing your own needs, you're teaching him to respect your time and effort. Scarcity isn't about playing games, it's about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and attention are precious, and not everyone gets unlimited access to them. When you embody this mindset, you naturally attract respect, admiration, and desire. Remember, being too available can make you seem predictable. But when you create a sense of scarcity, you keep him intrigued and invested. You're no longer just a convenient option, you're the woman he's willing to fight for. And that's exactly the kind of dynamic you deserve. 5. Show, don't tell. Have you ever found yourself explaining over and over how much you care, what you want, or how serious you are about the relationship? You think that if he just understood how much you value him, he'd start prioritizing you. But here's the reality. Words don't inspire action. Actions do. If you're stuck in a cycle of over-explaining, you're unknowingly pushing him away instead of drawing him closer. Men aren't moved by long conversations about feelings or endless assurances of your commitment. In fact, the more you talk about what you bring to the table, the less likely he is to truly see it. Why? Because words are fleeting, but actions leave a lasting impression. When your actions align with your values and self-worth, you don't need to say a word. He'll see it, feel it, and respond to it. Let's flip the script. Instead of telling him how much you care, show him through consistent, confident action. Instead of asking him to prioritize you, demonstrate through your behavior that you're someone worth prioritizing. When you lead with action instead of explanation, you communicate strength, independence, and authenticity, qualities that captivate him on a deeper level. Imagine this. You've told him a dozen times that you want more effort from him. He nods, agrees, and then nothing changes. Why? Because words don't create urgency. But what if, instead of repeating yourself, you pulled back your energy? What if you started focusing on your own needs, showing him through your actions that you won't settle for less than you deserve? Suddenly he's paying attention. He's realizing that if he doesn't step up, he might lose you. That's the power of showing, not telling. Think about the kind of woman you're drawn to. Is it the one who constantly talks about her dreams, but never takes steps to achieve them? Or is it the one who quietly goes after what she wants, letting her success speak for itself? The same principle applies to relationships. Men respect and admire women who lead with their actions, not their words. But let's go deeper. Showing him your value doesn't mean bending over backward to prove yourself. It means setting boundaries, respecting your own time, and staying true to your principles. It means saying no when something doesn't align with your standards, and yes, only to what truly serves you. This quiet confidence is magnetic because it's rooted in self-respect. Here's a scenario. He says he's too busy to meet up, but he's always available for his friends or other commitments. Instead of complaining or trying to convince him to make time, you simply stop chasing. You stop initiating plans and focus on your own life. He'll notice the shift. And if he truly values you, he'll adjust his priorities. If he doesn't, then you've saved yourself from investing in someone who wasn't willing to invest in you. This principle ties directly into Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology. Stoicism teaches us to control what we can, our actions and reactions, while letting go of what we can't. When you embrace this mindset, you stop trying to force his behavior and instead focus on how you show up. You become the steady, confident presence in the relationship, leading by example and inspiring him to match your energy. Let's be clear, showing your worth isn't about playing games or manipulating him. It's about embodying the values you want to see in the relationship. It's about being the type of partner you want to attract. When your actions reflect your inner strength and self-worth, he won't just see you as an option, he'll see you as the woman he can't afford to lose. But let's address the fear. What if I pull back and he doesn't chase me? That's a valid concern, but here's the truth. If he doesn't respond to your actions, he was never serious about prioritizing you. And while that might sting in the moment, it's ultimately a gift. It frees you to focus on someone who will value and cherish what you bring to the table. So, how can you start putting this into practice? Begin by identifying areas where your actions might not align with your self-worth. Are you over-explaining your needs? Are you chasing his attention when it's not being reciprocated? Once you've pinpointed these areas, commit to changing your approach. Lead with action, not words. And watch how the dynamic begins to shift. If this advice resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let me know how you're planning to implement these strategies in your own life. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more transformative insights into relationships and personal growth. Together, we'll continue this journey of becoming the best version of ourselves. Let's keep the conversation going, and I'll see you in the next step. 6. Use rejection as an opportunity for growth. Rejection. Even the word itself can sting, can't it? It's the moment when everything you hoped for slips through your fingers, leaving you questioning your worth. But what if rejection wasn't the enemy? What if, instead, it was a powerful tool for growth, self-discovery, and transformation? This shift in mindset isn't just empowering, it's essential for becoming his priority. Here's the truth. Rejection isn't a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of compatibility or lack thereof. Yet, so many of us internalize it, believing it means we weren't good enough, attractive enough, or worthy enough. But think about it. Have you ever rejected someone because they simply didn't align with what you wanted? Did it mean they weren't valuable? Of course not. The same principle applies to you. When a man pulls away, ghosts you, or tells you he's not ready for a relationship, it's easy to spiral into overthinking. You replay every conversation, searching for where you went wrong. But here's the reality. Most rejection has nothing to do with you. It's about him, his readiness, his priorities, or his inability to see your worth. And if he can't see it, that's his loss, not yours. Rejection is often the universe's way of redirecting you towards something or someone better, but only if you're willing to see it that way. Instead of letting rejection break you, let it build you. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Were there signs I ignored? Did I overinvest in someone who wasn't reciprocating? When you approach rejection with curiosity instead of self-criticism, you begin to see it for what it truly is: feedback. Maybe it's highlighting an area where you need to set stronger boundaries. Or perhaps it's showing you the importance of aligning your values with values. Whatever the lesson, rejection is a mirror reflecting areas of growth. This is where Stoicism offers a profound perspective. Stoics teach that while we can't control external events, like rejection, we can control how we respond to them. Instead of letting rejection define you, use it to refine you. It's not about ignoring the pain, it's about acknowledging it and choosing to grow stronger because of it. Here's a powerful exercise. The next time you experience rejection, write down 3 things it taught you. Maybe it showed you that you deserve someone who communicates more openly, or that you need to prioritize your self-worth over someone else's approval. These lessons are gold. They're the foundation for building a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Now, let's address the fear of rejection. It's natural to avoid situations where you might be turned down. But here's the paradox. The more you fear rejection, the more power it has over you. By embracing rejection as a necessary part of life and relationships, you strip it of its sting. You start to see it as a stepping stone, not a setback. Think about some of the most confident, magnetic people you know. Do you think they've never faced rejection? Of course they have. The difference is how they've responded to it. They've used rejection to fuel their growth, to sharpen their boundaries, and to deepen their sense of self-worth. That's the power of reframing rejection, not as an ending but as a beginning. Rejection also forces you to evaluate the energy you're giving. Are you over-investing in someone who isn't giving you the same in return? Are you trying to prove your worth to someone who doesn't see it? If so, rejection can be a blessing in disguise. It frees you from wasting your time and energy on someone who isn't right for you, allowing you to refocus on what truly matters: your growth and your happiness. Here's a truth that many people overlook. The person who rejects you today might regret it tomorrow. When you rise above the rejection, when you use it as a catalyst to become the best version of yourself, you create a kind of success that's undeniable. Maybe they'll come back, or maybe someone even better will enter your life. Either way, you win. The next time rejection comes knocking, don't let it shatter your confidence. Instead, take a step back and say, "Thank you for the clarity," because that's what rejection truly is. It's clarity about what's not meant for you. And when you embrace that clarity, you open yourself up to what is. Ultimately, rejection is freedom. It frees you from clinging to something that wasn't serving you. It frees you to pursue new opportunities, new relationships, and a deeper understanding of yourself. And most importantly, it frees you to become the kind of woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. When you shift your perspective on rejection, you don't just survive it, you thrive because of it. And that resilience, that confidence, that's what makes you unforgettable. That's what makes you a priority. 7. Demand reciprocity in effort. Have you ever found yourself pouring all your energy into a relationship only to realize you're the only one trying? You text first, you make plans, you accommodate his schedule, and yet he gives you the bare minimum in return. It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the truth. People will only match your effort if you expect and demand it. One of the most empowering things you can do in a relationship is to stop accepting less than you deserve. Reciprocity isn't about keeping score. It's about balance. It's about ensuring that the energy you give is met with equal effort. When you constantly give without receiving, you're teaching him that it's okay to take you for granted. But when you demand reciprocity, you're setting a standard that communicates your value. Let's break it down. What does reciprocity look like in practice? It's not about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about the little things, the text that says, "How's your day?" instead of waiting for you to check in. The thoughtful plans he makes to show he values your time. The consistency in his actions that matches your investment. When you notice a lack of reciprocity, it's time to step back. This isn't about punishing him, it's about protecting your energy. Think of it this way. If you keep watering a plant that never grows, you're wasting your resources. Relationships are no different. If he's not meeting you halfway, it's time to reevaluate whether this dynamic is serving you. But here's where it gets tricky. Many women hesitate to pull back because they fear losing him. The thought of creating distance feels counterintuitive, like it will push him away. But here's the paradox. When you stop over-investing, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer chasing his attention, you're showing him that you value yourself enough to step away from one-sided effort. And that's self-respect. It's magnetic. Let me ask you, if the roles were reversed and someone was chasing your attention without you reciprocating, would you respect them more or less? Likely less. The same applies here. By continuing to give without receiving, you're inadvertently lowering his respect for you. But when you pull back, you give him the opportunity to step up and meet your standards. Reciprocity also serves as a litmus test for his intentions. A man who genuinely values you will notice the imbalance and work to correct it. He'll realize that he needs to match your effort if he wants to keep you in his life. On the other hand, a man who isn't serious will either pull away or continue doing the bare minimum. And while that might sting, it's clarity, a gift that allows you to move on and focus on someone who will prioritize you. This principle ties deeply into Dark Stoic Psychology. By demanding reciprocity, you're mastering your emotions and refusing to be swayed by the fear of loss. You're taking control of what you can, your energy, your standards, and your boundaries, and letting go of what you can't, like his willingness to meet you halfway. This mindset not only strengthens your self-worth, but also shifts the power dynamic in your favor. Here's an exercise. Take an honest inventory of your relationship. Write down the effort you're putting in and compare it to what you're receiving. Are you always the one initiating contact? Are you making all the plans? Are you compromising more than he is? If the answer is yes, it's time to pull back. Stop doing the things he's taking for granted. Let him notice your absence and decide whether he's willing to fill the gap. But remember, reciprocity isn't just about effort, it's about emotional investment too. Are you giving more of your vulnerability, your time, and your energy than he is? If so, it's time to realign. A healthy relationship is a partnership, not a one-sided pursuit. You both deserve to feel valued and appreciated. When you demand reciprocity, you're not being selfish, you're being fair. You're honoring your worth and ensuring that the relationship is balanced and mutually fulfilling. And if he can't rise to meet your standards, it's not a loss. It's a redirection towards something better. So, ask yourself, are you giving too much and receiving too little? If so, it's time to make a change. Step back, focus on yourself, and watch how the dynamic shifts. Because the woman who demands reciprocity isn't just an option, she's the one he can't afford to lose. 8. Turn rejection into power. Rejection, it's a word that can send chills down anyone's spine. It's the moment that can make you question everything about yourself. Was I not enough? Did I do something wrong? But here's the truth you need to hear. Rejection isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a stepping stone to becoming unstoppable. What if, instead of letting rejection crush you, you used it to propel yourself to greater heights? The first thing to understand is this. Rejection isn't personal. Think about it. How many times have you turned someone down, not because they weren't good enough, but because they simply weren't the right fit for your life? The same logic applies here. His decision to walk away or not prioritize you doesn't define your value. It defines his perspective. And sometimes his perspective isn't even about you. It's about his own readiness, fears, or limitations. The question isn't whether you'll face rejection, it's inevitable. The real question is, what will you do with it? Will you let it shrink your confidence, or will you use it as fuel to grow stronger? This is where Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology come into play. Stoicism teaches us to view challenges, including rejection, as opportunities for growth. It's not about ignoring the pain, it's about turning it into power. Here's how you do it. The next time you're rejected, pause. Instead of spiraling into self-doubt, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's a lesson about setting stronger boundaries. Perhaps it's a reminder not to over-invest in someone who hasn't shown the same level of commitment. Or maybe it's simply the universe's way of clearing the path for someone better suited to you. Think of rejection as a mirror. It reflects areas where you can grow, not flaws in who you are. Did you give too much, too soon? Did you ignore red flags? Whatever the answer, rejection offers clarity, a chance to course correct and become even more aligned with your true self. It's not the end of your story, it's a chapter that sets the stage for an even better one. Now let's flip the script. Imagine a man who faces rejection and lets it consume him. He becomes bitter, insecure, and desperate for validation. How attractive is that? Not very, right? The same applies to you. The way you handle rejection speaks volumes about your character. When you face it with grace, resilience, and confidence, you show him and the world that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. Rejection also serves as a filter. It weeds out people who don't see your value, freeing you to focus on those who do. Let's be real. Do you really want to invest in someone who can't recognize how incredible you are? Probably not. Rejection is a blessing in disguise. It's the universe saying, not this one. Keep moving. There's something better ahead. But here's the key. Don't just survive rejection, thrive because of it. Use it as a catalyst to level up in every area of your life. Hit the gym, pursue a passion project, deepen your friendships, and invest in your personal growth. When you rise above rejection, you become magnetic. Why? Because success and confidence are irresistible. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you've been rejected, but instead of wallowing, you decide to transform. You focus on your goals, build a life you're proud of, and radiate self-assurance. A few months later, he sees you thriving, stronger, happier, and more radiant than ever. Do you think he'll regret letting you go? Absolutely. And that's not just about getting even. It's about proving to yourself that rejection can't hold you back. Rejection is also a chance to redefine what you want. Maybe his rejection revealed that he wasn't capable of giving you what you deserve. Use that clarity to refine your standards. When you know exactly what you want and what you won't settle for, you become a force to be reckoned with. So the next time rejection comes knocking, don't see it as a door closing. See it as a new one opening. It's not a failure, it's feedback. It's not an ending, it's a new beginning. And when you embrace this mindset, rejection becomes one of your greatest assets. If this perspective has shifted how you view rejection, like this video, and comment number 1 below to let me know you're ready to turn rejection into power. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights like this, because the journey to becoming his priority starts with becoming unstoppable in your own life. Let's keep transforming, one step at a time. 9. Become his emotional anchor. Picture this. Life is throwing him curveballs, stress at work, family drama, or simply the weight of daily responsibilities. He's feeling overwhelmed, unsteady, and unsure where to turn. Amid all the chaos, he craves one thing: stability. And that's where you come in, not as part of the chaos, but as the calm in his storm. Men are often taught to suppress their emotions, to man up and handle things on their own. While this conditioning serves them in some ways, it also leaves them yearning for a safe space, a person who brings balance and grounding to their lives. When you become that emotional anchor, you become irreplaceable. You're no longer just someone he enjoys spending time with. You're the person he leans on, the one he trusts to steady him when life gets tough. But let's be clear. Being his emotional anchor doesn't mean solving his problems for him or sacrificing your own emotional well-being. It's about showing him that you're unshaken by the ups and downs, that your confidence and sense of self remain intact regardless of the chaos around you. When he sees that you're composed and centered, he'll instinctively turn to you, not because he needs saving, but because your energy feels safe. Think about the people in your life who you turn to in difficult moments. Are they the ones who panic, overreact, or make the situation about themselves? Or are they the ones who listen, understand, and exude a calm strength that puts you at ease? Men are no different. They're drawn to women who can provide that emotional steadiness, especially in a world that feels unpredictable. But how do you cultivate this quality? Start by mastering your own emotions. This is where Stoicism becomes invaluable. Stoicism teaches you to remain grounded, to control your reactions, and to focus on what you can influence. When you embody this mindset, you're no longer swayed by his mood swings or external pressures. Instead, you become a pillar of strength, someone who brings peace, not more chaos. Let's say he's in a bad mood and starts withdrawing or acting distant. Most people would react emotionally, asking, "What's wrong? Did I do something? Why are you acting like this?" While these reactions come from a place of care, they often add pressure to an already tense situation. Instead, try this. Give him space. Offer a calm and understanding presence without pushing for answers. A simple, "I'm here if you want to talk," can work wonders. It shows him that you're supportive without being overbearing. Being his emotional anchor also means not mirroring his negative energy. If he's stressed or upset, don't let it pull you down. Instead, maintain your positive, steady demeanor. This doesn't mean ignoring his feelings. It means showing him that you can handle the waves without being swept away by them. Your calmness becomes his refuge. However, don't confuse being an emotional anchor with being his emotional dumping ground. If he consistently brings negativity or drama into the relationship without making an effort to work through it, that's a boundary issue, not a reflection of your role. Being his anchor doesn't mean carrying his burdens. It means showing him how to navigate them without losing himself. Here's a powerful exercise. When he's going through a tough time, ask yourself, how can I support him while staying true to myself? Maybe it's listening without judgment, offering a fresh perspective, or simply being present. The key is to provide stability without sacrificing your own emotional well-being. The beauty of becoming his emotional anchor is that it creates a bond that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It's not about how you look or what you say. It's about how you make him feel. When he knows that he can count on you to be his steady force, even during life's storms, he'll see you as someone he can't afford to lose. Ultimately, being his emotional anchor is about balance. You're not trying to fix him or take on his struggles as your own. You're showing him that you're a source of calm, strength, and unwavering support. And in a world full of unpredictability, that kind of presence is rare and deeply valued. 10. Master the scarcity principle. Imagine this. He texts you, expecting an immediate response like always, but instead of jumping to reply, you're busy, actually busy, living your life. You're not ignoring him, you're simply not centering your world around him. And in that moment, a subtle shift occurs. He starts to wonder what you're doing, why you're not always available, and how he fits into your priorities. This is the power of the scarcity principle, and it's one of the most transformative shifts you can make in your approach to relationships. Scarcity isn't about playing hard to get or manipulating him into chasing you. It's about authentically valuing your time and energy. When you create a sense of scarcity, you're communicating that your attention isn't something to be taken for granted. It's earned. Here's the truth. People value what they have to work for. When something is too easily accessible, it loses its appeal. Think about it. Would you value a priceless piece of art if it were available on every street corner? Probably not. The same logic applies to relationships. If you're always available, always accommodating, and always prioritizing him over everything else, you're inadvertently lowering your value in his eyes. Creating scarcity doesn't mean cutting him off or being cold. It's about maintaining your independence and ensuring that your world doesn't revolve around him. When you're genuinely busy pursuing your passions, goals, and friendships, scarcity happens naturally. You're not pretending to be unavailable. You simply have a fulfilling life that he needs to fit into. Let's explore what this looks like in practice. Instead of texting him all day, focus on your own activities. Instead of dropping your plans whenever he calls, stick to your commitments. This doesn't mean you're ignoring him. It means you're showing him that your time is valuable. And when he sees that, he'll start to value it too. But scarcity isn't just about time, it's about emotional availability as well. Are you constantly seeking his validation? Are you always the one initiating deep conversations or trying to fix things when he's distant? If so, it's time to step back. Allow him to come to you. Give him the space to miss you, to wonder what you're thinking, and to make the effort to connect. Here's where Dark Stoic Psychology becomes a game changer. By embracing emotional independence and mastering your reactions, you create a sense of mystery and allure. You're no longer predictable or overly available. Instead, you become intriguing, a woman whose presence he craves because it's not guaranteed. Imagine this scenario. He texts you at 10 p.m., asking if you want to hang out. Instead of saying yes immediately, you respond with something like, "I've already got plans tonight, but let's plan something soon." What have you done? You've communicated that your time is precious and that you're not always available on a whim. This subtle shift changes the dynamic. He realizes he can't take you for granted, and that realization makes you more desirable. But let's address the fear. What if he loses interest because I'm not as available? Here's the truth. A man who truly values you won't lose interest because you respect your own time. In fact, it will make him respect you more. If he does pull away, it's a sign that he was never willing to put in the effort you deserve. And while that might sting, it's better to know now than to waste your energy on someone who doesn't see your worth. The scarcity principle also applies to how much you share. Are you an open book, telling him everything about your day, your thoughts, and your feelings? While openness is important, leaving a little to the imagination creates intrigue. Don't feel the need to share every detail. Let him wonder about you. That curiosity keeps the spark alive. Think about the most compelling characters in books or movies. They're not the ones who lay everything out on the table from the beginning. They're the ones who reveal themselves slowly, keeping you hooked and wanting to know more. You can embody that same energy in your relationships by mastering the art of mystery and scarcity. Finally, remember that scarcity isn't about withholding, it's about balance. It's about valuing yourself enough to ensure that your time, energy, and attention are given to someone who truly appreciates them. When you create scarcity, you're not just becoming his priority, you're showing him that you're a rare and valuable woman, one who commands respect and admiration. So, the next time you feel the urge to overgive, overshare, or overinvest, pause. Remind yourself that you're worth the chase, worth the effort, and worth being treated as a priority. Because the truth is, a man who truly values you will rise to meet your standards, and when he does, the dynamic shifts forever. You're no longer just an option. You're the woman he can't afford to lose. You've now uncovered the secrets to transforming your approach to relationships and shifting the dynamic in your favor. This journey isn't about playing games, manipulating emotions, or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about stepping into your power, embracing your worth, and embodying the kind of woman who commands respect, admiration, and love. Each step, Whether it's mastering emotional independence, setting boundaries, or creating scarcity, is designed to help you reclaim your sense of self and refocus on what truly matters, your happiness and fulfillment. When you live authentically, when your actions align with your values, and when you refuse to settle for less than you deserve, something incredible happens. You stop chasing. You stop begging for attention, and instead you naturally become the priority in his life. But let's make something clear. This isn't just about him. This journey is about you. It's about creating a life so vibrant, so full, and so aligned with your passions that whether he steps up or steps away, you're still thriving. The woman who becomes his priority isn't the one who waits for him to choose her. She's the one who chooses herself first, and by doing so becomes irresistible. Imagine this. You've mastered your emotions, set boundaries that reflect your worth, and embraced the power of reciprocity. You've turned rejection into fuel for growth, created scarcity to amplify your value, and become his emotional anchor without losing yourself. At this point, he's no longer questioning whether you're worth his time. He's working to ensure he's worth yours. But here's the ultimate truth. This journey doesn't end with him. When you embody these principles, you're not just creating the foundation for a healthy relationship, you're transforming every area of your life. Your confidence soars, your sense of purpose deepens, and you attract not only love but opportunities, friendships, and experiences that align with your highest self. So, now it's your turn. Take these principles and make them your own. Commit to becoming the woman who prioritizes her happiness, respects her boundaries, and lives unapologetically. And as you do, watch how the world, including the men in your life, responds. If you've made it this far, you're already on your way to something extraordinary. Let this be the moment you decide to stop being an option and start living as the priority you were always meant to be. And remember, this isn't just about finding the right partner, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If these insights have resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and comment number 1 below to share your thoughts. And be sure to subscribe for more content that empowers, inspires, and guides you toward building the life and relationships you deserve. Here's to your transformation, because you're worth it. See you in the next video.